Yeah, Brian, obviously, time's running out here to turn it around. What is the messaging like in terms of just sort of the importance of getting some wins here?
Well, it's been going on for quite some time, messaging. Internally, they talk about it, comes from the coaching staff. So, the message is you got to win your home games. It's hard to win on the road in MLS, so we can't wait until there's, a couple of hard road games coming up. So this was a critical moment where we could have pushed ourselves into a better position and then thought about a couple of tough games. So obviously, the message in there was very short. Just make sure you get the physical recovery that will be needed for the Galaxy, and then we'll watch the film and try and get better. And it's not just the goals that we took, but also the attacking movements. We got to figure out a way how to score goals.
We'll go with John and then over to Maz. Go ahead, John.
Brian, I'd like to ask about Danny Leyva tonight. What went into the decision about giving him the start, and how you thought initial responses to his performance tonight?
Well, we're searching to find that right combination in the middle of the field. Danny has been one of the guys that we've used in there. The formation was a little bit different because they played 4-4-2, so we almost played defensively 4-1-4-1. I thought it worked. I thought Danny, had some good moments. He found a bunch of good passes. So overall, I was pleased with his play.
Maz.
Yeah, hey, Brian, obviously, just talk about you. It looked like you guys had a good start to the game. And what happened? I don't even look at the film, but just emotional perspective.
Well, the goal got taken away. It gets some, air out of your sails. And then, your opponent is, trying to kill the tempo of the game. And those two things added up to, kind of a lackluster last 15, 20 minutes of the first half.
Players want to score goals. I mean, is it just one of those things that, once you get one, you'll get, they'll come in bunches? Because they obviously want to score.
Yeah. Well, I'll say that, look, Raul's goal, not goal, whatever it was, I still haven't seen the entire highlight. That's what we talked about before the game, getting an early goal, being on the front foot, coming out right when the whistle blows, all of that sort of stuff. It goes in your favor. You have the euphoria of, playing with a lead, and then, the air comes out of the balloon. So I believe that the team has enough veteran players in there to overcome some of those moments, but then we give up that transition goal off corner kick, and that further deflates the team, gives them a little bit of more confidence in how they want to, dictate tempo of the game. So those two factors were big factors. Goals change games.
Okay, we'll come back over here to Jeremiah O'Shannon while the mic is coming around. Reminder for those on Zoom, if you do have a question for head coach Brian Schmetzer, please hit the raise hand function button. Jeremiah.
I know we talked about this last week, but another one-goal loss. I think it's 11 now
You've
on the
cursed
season.
us.
Oh. I mean, is there anything that you can? I mean, is there something different that you have to try to do? Is there? What do you? I don't know. How do you turn that around?
Well, Jeremiah, the key thing is trying to find some stability in these last 9 games now to try and figure out a way how to, get this group of players to play together. Raul's coming back. He looked sharp again. And just go from there. Just get the team going again and put the same group out there. They know how to play. They know how to play. So I think there's just a lack of consistency in both the rotation and in the way we play. Everybody knows that the first 5 minutes after you score is always the most critical time. And we get ourselves back in the game through Albert's goal. And then, I watched that replay on the TV feed. We should have done better there.
Okay, we'll go over to Zoom, and then we'll come back in the room for anybody that has follow-ups in here. A reminder, if you have a question for Zoom, please hit the raise hand function button. Jada Evans, I see your hand raised. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Thanks. Brian, I wanted to ask, you guys have you have wanted the team to concentrate, for a full 90 minutes. Is that aim to be perfect in a sense? Do you think that might have a play or have a part in some of the struggles that you guys are having? Just maybe overthinking things a little bit.
No, I wouldn't say that's overthinking. I just want to remind them that, in this situation, in our current situation where we need to collect points and we need to collect points at home for sure, you have to, start the game. As soon as the referee blows the whistle, you have to start the game, and we want to, again, be out on the front foot and score the first goal and then dictate our tempo and how we want to play, and that just didn't happen. So I don't know if there's any, trying to be too perfect. I think, again, that group is too many veteran guys in there. So I just think we need to go out and, continue to compete because the guys competed well. And then again, Jay, to just try and score more goals because, we gotta win a game here, 4-3, 3-1, whatever that is. But we have to score more goals.
Last call for questions on Zoom. I see there are questions here in the room, which is fine. Last call for Zoom questions. Felipe Makeda, please go ahead.
Thank you, Alex. Coach Brian, I would like to ask you if you think that the team, in terms of competition, the level of the team is at the top, or is at the level that you want, or there is a room to improve?
No, we're not at our top level, Felipe. Look, it's our job as coaches to do two things. Number one is to make sure that we get the tactics, the team, the training, all of that. That's number one. And number two is to give the players confidence that they can go out and play up to their level. And so we will regroup and try and get the team back to their level. Their level is much higher than this. What we saw tonight and then the last, spell of games where we've been up and down, we have not been consistent enough. So we will continue to work on that. And, the playoffs are still within reach. But I do agree with everybody in the room and all the fans that time's running out. So we got to figure this out very quickly.
Thank you.
See a couple more on Zoom. We'll go to Paolo next. Paolo, please go ahead and ask your question.
Coach, this is the 8th loss in the last 10 games, and now 3 games on the road. How do you expect to be in the table after these 3 road games?
Well, I'm not looking at 3 road games. I'm looking at 1, which is a Galaxy, and they came off a good result, so they'll be flying. That's the game that we'll focus on, and that will be a critical game to try and collect points, like I said. And we will go down there and we will fight and work and try and get a result down there.
Nico Moreno, you're the last one I see on Zoom. Go for it.
Thank you. Brian, I just kind of wanted to know, you brought in Freddie and Will at the exact same time. I just wanted to get your thought on that. And did you guys go to a 4-4-2 when that happened? Just kind of wanted to get that from you.
Yeah, because Raul was on a set time limit, I was going to bring, when we scored, we were behind, and then I was going to bring both and play more 4-4-2, but Freddie, understand his tendencies. He likes to drop a little deeper off the front line, so almost as a number 10. Then we scored, and so Raul had to come off, and I was just going to bring one forward on, but literally 60 seconds after we scored, they had scored. So we went with the original plan, which is to try and get both of them on the field because we needed as many goal scorers on the field as possible. And yes, we did switch formations there to 4-4-2 or some version of that, again, with the individual tendencies of Will staying higher up the field and Freddie playing in the pockets. That was the intent.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, we'll close with follow-ups here in the room. We'll start on this side because I know the mic's over there. Yes, back row there, Gigi. No, right, other way there. Yep, thank you.
Hi, Coach. It seemed like you created a lot of opportunities in the second half on crosses. What's your thoughts on that, and how much credit would you give RSL for what they did defensively?
Well, they limited a good team to 1 goal, so credit to Pablo and his team. We did throw a lot of crosses in there, which is usually not our strength, but sometimes in those moments, in those games, you know, if your opponent is defending directly in front of their goal, you have to try and stretch them this way. We couldn't stretch them vertically with Jordan because they were already dropped in deep, so you have to try and stretch them somehow, and that's usually through the width of the field. And that forces you into sometimes crossing a lot of balls, which, you know, McMath came out and caught a few. They, you know, Glad and those guys, you know, Silva, they headed some balls away. So, yeah, you can credit them for sure.
Maz, front row here.
Brian, I'm just going to go back on something you mentioned. Said you need more consistency. Is that on the offensive end? Is that the off-ball movements? Is the passing?
It's team-wide in all aspects of the game. I mean, we can go back through all the goals that we've taken, all the missed chances. I'm sure there's a little piece of every part of our game, the game of soccer, in each one of those plays. You know, the technical ability of players to score goals, you know, the movement off the ball, counter movements, defending with grit and determination, blocking shots, blocking crosses. I mean, we could probably go through all of the, you know, again, chances and goals, and, you know, there's a narrative there.
Mickey, go ahead.
Thanks. Danny Leva seemed to be pretty effective, especially with his passing. He unlocked RSL quite a few times.
Yep.
I was just curious about your thoughts on his performance and the decision to take him off the field, given that he was seemed to be having a good game.
Yeah, he did have a good game, and sometimes taking a young player off the field and keeping your veterans on, yeah, I'll think about that. Well, I'll reflect on that. But you need to have your money guys step up in those moments. And, you know, Danny, I thought, played well, and credit to him for working hard in training. So we'll see how the next lineup rolls out. He certainly is deserving of a conversation there to see if he starts again.
Final question? We'll come over to John. You got the last one. Just be patient for the mic, please. While it's coming around, reminder that our locker room will be open for those that are vaccine verified with our staff and are masked. John, go ahead.
Coach, I'm curious about set pieces in general. You had 7 corners to RSL 0, a number of free kicks in dangerous areas, and quality didn't seem to be there tonight. Seemed like you were trying a lot of different things from corners and set pieces with shorter plays versus just crossing the ball into the box. So I'm curious if this is something that has been a practice ground, regular thing that you're working on to try and find a solution to, or if the inability is just not the lack of finishing and lack of quality all around on the field.
We had a couple of corner kick plays set up, designed for this particular match. They didn't come off. We have been working on that. That is an area that we have to do a little bit better at. The decision to go from outswingers to inswingers, was something to put a little more pressure on opposing goalkeepers. We are continuing to revisit that, and we'll try and add new wrinkles for each game, because it is critical. Look, if your guys aren't scoring goals, then maybe a set piece drops in, and that can lift this team. And it is something that we've put a priority on here in the last couple of weeks of training.